Have you ever had a couple ask, so how do we actually get married during our elopement? As photographers, we're often the ones they turn to for guidance, not just about photos, but about the legal side of their day too. And guess what? You can even marry them yourself. I've done that quite a few times, and today I'm breaking down everything you need to know to help your couples navigate the legalities of eloping. Welcome to Stoked, the podcast that helps adventure elopement photographers hit six figures and beyond in their businesses without hustling on social media. I'm your host, Megan McPhail, a former burnt-out emergency veterinarian that quit my hard-earned career to become an elopement photographer. Now I'm living a life I absolutely love, full of travel, adventure, and financial abundance, and I am hell-bent on helping you do the same. Are you ready to start booking out your calendar with dream couples in breathtaking locations and feeling genuinely stoked about your elopement photography business, life, and bank account? Then let's dive into this week's episode. Hey, it's your host, Megan McPhail.
And your co-host, Todd Reedy.
And today's episode is all about helping your couples navigate the legalities of eloping. And it's a really important topic that a lot of people are a little bit confused about. And so I'm going to go over exactly what we talk to our couples about when we get on sales calls with them or consultation calls with them. So one of the important ways you can support your couples is by helping them understand the legal side of getting married during their elopement, but also their options, because there's a lot of options when it comes to getting legally married. I don't want you to be like taking on the role of a lawyer. I don't want you holding their hand through the whole process, but giving them their options, especially since the legalities are so different depending on the state or the country that the couple is eloping in. It's really important to be able to talk them through what their options are and what works best for them as far as what they want from their elopement.
And a little disclaimer, we are not lawyers. We don't know all of the rules in all the states or all the countries. This is coming out in early 2025, so the data that we have and the rules that we know may be different now, but just keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah, exactly. We're not lawyers and things can change. So one of the cool things that you can do in several states is self-solemnization, where a couple doesn't need an officiant or even witnesses to be there during their wedding day and during their ceremony. This is perfect for couples that just want to have the day to themselves. They don't want to hire an officiant and they just want to say their vows to each other. And especially if they are like hiking to a far off place, or like with us when we eloped, we took a helicopter to the top of a mountain in Alaska. So it can be hard to get an officiant to those locations. So self-solemnization is a great option. And how many states is it?
Yeah, it looks like there are 9 states in the U.S. California, Colorado, District of Columbia, Illinois, Kansas, Maine, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. But some of those have like a caveat of it has to have like some kind of religious exemption or a religious like tie to it. Be aware and do your research about what exactly the rules are in your state. But it does seem like there are several options outside of Colorado.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we do a lot of work in Colorado, so self-solemnization is even one of the reasons why couples choose to elope in Colorado. So yeah, it's pretty cool that you don't need to have witnesses or an officiant. There's a lot of states like Utah and New Mexico, for example. We do a lot of work in those 2 states, and you need both an officiant and 2 witnesses to sign your marriage license to make it legal. So some couples, they don't want witnesses and officiant. They want to self-solemnize. So they might go to Colorado specifically for that, or they might want to have their dog do a little paw print on their marriage license, which is super cute.
And I looked up those rules too.
Oh, yeah.
So again, as of 2024, it looks like you can have your dog act as a witness in 23 states.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So again, outside of Colorado, there are options to have your dog or maybe other pets. Again, don't hold me to it. Yeah.
That's adorable. Yeah, so I think it's really cute when couples incorporate their pets and stuff like that. And I love, there's like some ink-free pads that you can get. Maybe we can even link to that in the show notes, that you can put your dog's paw print on this pad, and then it like transfers the ink over to your marriage license so that no ink gets on their paw pad, which is super cute.
And that really makes for a really fun photo op and video op, and just like a moment in a quote unquote ceremony to get your dogs included in it. So definitely, if people aren't aware of that and they have dogs, like, you should share that. Maybe your couple wants to do that because it's kind of special, especially people that love their pets.
Yeah, they're fur babies.
More than people.
So just self-solemnizing is an option, but let's talk about how people can self-solemnize when they're in a state that requires witnesses and an officiant, because we kind of have ways that we get around that. So obviously you can just hire an officiant and have witnesses to be legal, but also what we've done in the past is, like, Todd and I will act as witnesses. Like in Utah, we have one officiant we love to use. His name is Mike Foley.
We'll link to him too.
Yeah.
Because he's amazing. If you have an elopement or wedding in Utah, he's hilarious and he's just a good guy.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite officiants, so I have to give him a shout out. We haven't worked together in a while, but he's great. And so if he was acting as officiant and the couple doesn't want guests there, which is very common, then Todd and I would sign as witnesses to make the marriage license legal. So that's one thing that we've done. I am also ordained as an officiant. So for the folks that, again, they're eloping in a state where the laws require an officiant and witnesses, if they didn't want to hire an officiant and just want to say the vows to each other, then I would act as an officiant. I would not stand up there with them during the ceremony. I would be photographing, but I would sign their marriage license as their officiant. Todd would sign as a witness, and then we'd find one more person to sign as a witness.
Which is also kind of fun as well, because some people like maybe watching like from a distance, because if you're out in the middle of nature and you see someone in a wedding dress and or a suit, you probably will pause and take a look.
Yeah.
And those people like love, in our experience, like love to be asked to be a witness. Totally random, but they get show up and be on the marriage license as a witness. And kind of just a fun little interaction and story.
Hey photographer, do you dream of having a successful elopement photography business but don't know where to start? Imagine having the confidence to double or triple your prices, booking your calendar solid with dream couples and breathtaking locations, and feeling genuinely stoked about your business, your life, and your bank account? Then I'd like to introduce you to Stoked Academy, the go-to membership community for adventure elopement photographers that are ready to scale their businesses to 6 figures and beyond, all without hustling on social media. In Stoked Academy, you'll get access to everything you need to build a 6-figure business, like mastering marketing strategies, pricing for profit, elopement planning, worksheets, templates, spreadsheets, and so much more. Plus, you'll connect with a positive, supportive community of elopement photographers who are as passionate as you are. And the best part? It's insanely affordable, like less than the cost of a new memory card for your camera. Plus, as a member, you'll get to join me for a monthly group coaching call where we dive deep into strategies that will take your business to the next level. If this sounds awesome, then head over to stokedacademy.com to learn more about the membership and join us. I can't wait to see you in there. Yeah, one time I was in Utah and again with Mike Foley. I didn't realize I was going to talk about him so much on this. And he was the officiant. I signed as a witness, but we needed another witness. And thankfully, right as the ceremony ended, a bunch of rock climbers who had just finished up climbing in this one spot that we were at were walking by. So we asked them to sign the marriage license and they loved it. And then we got photos of the couple with all the climbers and it was so cute. And it's just like a fun story that they were able to tell and just like a fun interaction that we had too, because the guys were so hyped for this couple. It was really, really cute. So that's one thing that you can do. You can also have, like, if they have a friend or a family member that they want to officiate their wedding instead of hiring an officiant, they can either rely on me to sign as the officiant, or their friend or family member can get ordained. There's a really quick place to get it done. It's the Universal Life Church. It takes like 30 seconds to get ordained. It's really great.
And with that, I think that I've heard that online like ordainship doesn't count, or you can't use that in like the DC area, whether that's in the Virginia side or actually in District of Columbia, or I guess Maryland's the other. So again, check your local legislation.
Yeah, check the laws, double check all of this to make sure we're not speaking out of our butts, But yeah, so those are some of the options. And then photographers often ask me, like, if I'm photographing and officiating, how do I do that? And really what I tell my couples is, this is how I want them to do the ceremony, right? When they are self-solemnizing, or when I'm acting as the officiant, but not actually up there kind of emceeing the ceremony, I have them decide who goes first as far as saying their vows. Sometimes we'll have people do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Or sometimes couples are very adamant that so-and-so goes first. So just ask them. And then I have them, one person say their vows, then the next person says their vows. Oftentimes they're very heartfelt and personal and just great. I love hearing people's vows. And then I have them exchange rings. So I walk them through this process, and I tell them, after you both have done your vows, then I want you to exchange rings. We'll go back to the person who started, and you'll put the ring on the finger and say something that you want your partner to, think of every time they look down and see their ring. And I think that makes it kind of special because, some people might remember hearing ceremonies where the officiant is like, oh, it's a never ending circle or whatever that represents this, that, and blah, blah, blah. But you can put the ring on and say, I want you to always remember that I'm there for you, or something like that. Like just something cute when they do the rings. After both of them exchange rings and say something sweet, then I will ask them what they want me to say, as far as like, I now pronounce you husband and wife and wife, doctor and husband, or I now pronounce you married. Like, what do they want me to say in that moment? Some couples are not religious or are religious, or, they want me to say something unique to them in that moment. So I'll say that. And then I ask them to have their first kiss, and we photograph that whole thing. And then we hoot and holler afterwards to make it seem really special and congratulate them and stuff like that. So that's how I manage the ceremonies if somebody is self-solemnizing or if I'm acting as the officiant. So the other option that I give couples is to do the legalities at home first, because most of our couples are traveling from out of state to these places where they're eloping. Sometimes they're only traveling for like a few days to elope and then they're leaving. So they may not want to spend a whole afternoon in this really cool place, like going down to the county clerk's office and doing this marriage license thing. Because you oftentimes have to go and like share, your ID and stuff, and it could take a while. And sometimes you got to make a appointment or go to like a whole different town in order to do it, depending on where you're eloping. So I tell people, like, if you don't want to have to do all of that during this elopement vacation, then you can do the legalities at home, either by, like, Todd and I actually did this a year before our elopement. On the same date, we got a New Mexico marriage license, and we needed an officiant and 2 witnesses to sign it. And so I have 2 brothers and Todd has 1 brother. So we're like, why don't we get our brothers to sign our marriage license? So was it Kevin that got ordained?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin, my brother, got ordained, signed as the officiant. And then my other brother, Rory, signed as a witness. And then Todd's brother, Ryan, signed as the other witness. And we sent it in. And that was how we got legally married. So you can do the legalities at home if you don't want to do them wherever you're traveling to. But some couples are very adamant that they want to sign their marriage license right after their ceremony and have that, like, have all the legalities in the ceremony and everything be the same day. And other people, they don't care. They're like, yeah, let's do it ahead of time. And sometimes we even show up on elopement days and our couple is like, yeah, we already got married. but they use their elopement day as their official like wedding date and anniversary date and stuff like that. So I like to talk to them about all of these options so that they can pick the one that fits best for them and their schedule and what they find important. For international elopements, it's definitely something that you want to talk to people about with doing the legalities at home first, because different countries, that's a whole different ballgame of legalities. So yeah, those are the options that I talk to people about on a consultation call. I always go over their options so that they know and they can choose what works best for them. And it's important, if you don't know the marriage laws for the locations that you are booking elopements or want to book elopements, just Google it really quick, see what the requirements are, especially if there's some kind of waiting period. Most of the states that we work in don't have a waiting period, so that's not a concern for us. But there are some other things to think about, like how soon you have to mail in or return the marriage license, stuff like that. Sometimes it's just open-ended, sometimes it's 30 days, so each state is totally different. So being kind of prepared to be able to answer this question or bring this up during a consult call with couples that are eloping is really important. But besides talking them through these options, I don't hold their hand through the whole marriage license process. I'm not necessarily telling them when and where to pick up their license and what they need to bring as far, those are all things that they can look up. And if they have questions about that, you can do your best to answer them. But most couples are pretty self-sufficient once I just give them these options. So if you do get ordained and are able to officiate, some photographers will put that on their website as one of the values of working with them, and I know some people who their significant others are ordained and can officiate. I don't really advertise that I'm an officiant and can officiate a wedding. I just don't. I just talk about it on the sales call, but you certainly can. If you do get ordained, you can certainly put that on your website and have that be one of the benefits of working with you. And I probably wouldn't charge for it. I think that should just be included in your elopement package if you are quote unquote officiating, because it's really not any extra work for you. I don't really do anything extra except talk them through how to do the ceremony and then what they want me to say when I pronounce them man and wife or man and man or wife and whatever, doctor and wife.
But I do know of one photography company that it's a husband-wife duo, and the husband is the main photographer and the wife also photographs, but she also acts as an officiant and actually does a story and actually MCs the thing. And so I think that they do charge for that extra service. And so
that would make sense if she's preparing a ceremony.
Yeah, because she's talking to them beforehand and getting the story and having something to say, and then she photographs throughout the rest of the day, just not that part. Mm-hmm. So I think in that case, she does, or they do charge for that service. So again, it just kind of depends on what exactly you're doing and what you feel comfortable with within your business.
Yeah. So basically the options I talk people through is whether or not they want to do the legalities ahead of time or on the actual elopement day, and what the legalities are in that state as far as whether or not we need an officiant and whether or not we need witnesses, and then what our game plan is to accommodate that if they don't want to have guests. Some of our couples do have guests and have a family member officiate or hire an officiant, and it's just whatever they think is the most important for their day, and just being able to talk through the options for them so that they get to choose what is best for them is really what we do. So yeah, in the show notes, I'll link to that fun ink pad that's actually kind of inkless so that dogs can sign the marriage license. We'll link to Universal Life Church, and hopefully this episode, even though it's quick, will help you know how to talk people through their options when it comes to getting married on their elopement day or doing it beforehand. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Stoked. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend. If you're looking for more inspiring elopement photography content, check us out on Instagram at Megan McPhail. And if you'd like to hear more about my business coaching and how I can personally help you hit six figures as an elopement photographer, then check out my website at www.meganmcphail.com.